dude. Like now, like we're in deep trouble now, bro. Like seriously, like honestly, man. Like, where's the grab your swords? The dime men, yeah. And good luck through the rest of this. I'll go ahead and get up there at 4.
I'm telling you, grab your swords, bro.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but where is it? I don't see it. And to be honest with you, I think it's the only saving grace right now. Go ahead and roll with it. Pass turn.
Grab your sword!
Honestly, bro, like it's bad here. Like
Let's
I don't
go!
even, like that's nonsense. How many you play? How many of this card
2!
do you play? 2 of this card. 2 of this card. To do with the bonsai.
Whoa. Listen, I think we have a space where we can argue this. Maybe hone this in a little bit and have an actual conversation.
Well, let's fucking have it, Johnny.
Let's
like
do it.
this is honestly, you're gonna play 2 of in this card, and they're just gonna rip it like that, like you're on Turbo Ink.
Just because you're playing a bunch of 1 and 2 asses, and you get grab your swords off the
Card
top.
isn't even good anymore.
I don't want to hear it. This card is good.
It would appear we have a problem. We have some debate going on, and I thought this would be a perfect time to introduce Pardon the Questing, a new series here on the BSG channel, shot live right now from Supernova Toys and Collectibles in Bridgeview, Illinois. So we have, I'm your host for today, Johnny SBJ. You can call me whatever you want, honestly.
SBJ.
At the end of the day, the most important piece of this are our contestants for the day. We have 3 contestants here on one side. On the left-hand side, you'll see Coach Miles of BSG. You might know him as just an avid Sir Hiss defender. He loves that guy. And we'll see if he'll be defending Sir Hiss today. Maybe, maybe not. But then to his left, we have Abe, co-owner of the store, competitive player for BSG as well. Avid debater outside of the camera, so you'll get to see him on the camera. And then we also have on the right side, you've seen him a few times now, Justin Tamato, we like to call him. Anything shiny, he just gravitates to. Also just a brilliant competitive player, deck builder for BSG. And yeah, so what is Pardon the Questing? Well, this is going to be a debate show. And I think we can just get straight into it. I can go over the structure, how this is going to work. There's 2 phases. First phase is going to have 5 rounds, 5 different questions. Everyone here is going to have an answer to those questions. They're each going to get an allotted 30-second uninterrupted opening argument where they'll go over why they chose their answer. After that, we'll have an open debate where they'll all just fight to the death, fight for passion, whatever it is, going over why it is that they chose their answer, why they disagree with another answer, and just rebuttals everything. After this, at the end of each round, I will go ahead and make the decision on who I feel gave the best argument, and based on that person will receive a point. At the end of phase 1, whoever the 2 players with the most points will move on to phase 2, which is a head-to-head finals. And then after that, the best 2 out of 3 will be crowned champion of episode 1.
Johnny, you're saying that somebody's going to get kicked out for this show?
Somebody's going to get kicked out.
It's not me.
These are important. These are
just go in.
Important rounds.
Important rounds.
So I think we can just get straight into it. I think you've all waited long enough.
I'm pissed, Johnny. What's up?
So starting first is going to be Miles with the question. And the question is, the first question, round 1. Miles.
Johnny.
Which color combination will be the best for set 6?
Give me 5
30
seconds.
seconds.
Give me 5 seconds before I begin here.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to take the outside call here. I believe that green sapphire, emerald sapphire, is going to be a massive outside hit that is going to crush this meta. I think we're going to see the best of ramp and active interaction in card draw. I think that we're going to, for the first time, see Fishbone Quill interact with Diablo in the same way that we're going to see Clarabelles interact with Little Clarabelles. We have
5 seconds.
Bend to My Will, a card that is going to
2,
stabilize
1.
itself.
Stop.
Oh, wait.
Stop.
Jesus, 30 seconds goes by so fast, Johnny.
And you'll have more time to argue.
Whew.
All right. Abe, you are going second here. Who did you pick, or which 2 colors did you pick?
I picked green steel.
30 seconds.
Wow.
The back-to-back champion
That was my
of
answer. That
Vegas
was my answer.
and Seattle, right? Jordan 96, 97 type vibes, guys. You got your Diablo, you got all the discard, you got your steel removal. We're getting some nice additions in the next set. What more is there to say? This deck is awesome, and it's not going to be bad in the next set. Still got all the same mechanics of set 5, but you have things like Bend to My Will. You've got the Heffa, what's it called? The Heffalumps card?
Man doesn't even know what is called.
That's
Awesome
it.
card.
That's it. Your 30-second opening argument. And Justin, what did you pick?
Well, I was gonna say green steel, but he got it. So I guess I have to go for blue steel, sapphire steel. Let me think about it. I think so. Blue cards has such a great addition. A couple of cards like the Azurite, Alice. For the steel side, we have Jim Hawkins. We have, I think Chen Po comes back in the game. I think Grab Your Swords gets out of the game. We got the Twin Shot back. Finally, we have a card called Twin Shot in the game. Those are like, we have at least like 6 cards that we can play in this deck. And like, what's his name? Oswald. Oswald's pretty good too. There's like an item build for that. So maybe we could see an item build version of blue steel for sure.
2, 1. All right. So guys, that was their 30-second open argument. And now you all have the floor. Anyone can speak anytime. Go ahead.
Johnny, can you re-ask the question?
Yes. Which color combination will be the best for set 6?
Do you have anything else to say?
About my green steel?
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
What more is there to say? Back-to-back champ deck.
That's true.
What more is there to say?
I will say this right now, right? I think that like the deck that you are trying to operate on right now is the like quintessential old guard here, right? You're playing this mid-range discard build that thrives when little decks try to quest into it and mess it up, and then they just rip the rest of their hand out. The presence of Bend to My Will at the top end is not going to be a big problem for you. But I will tell you what will be a big problem for you. When we begin to see green cards like Lilo unreadying cards like Big Mufasa, and we see Gogo Tamago come out as cards that begin to gain lore actively for a non-interactive traditional strategy like Green Sapphire, I think we're going to see a massive shift in how games work. Outside of that, I think that Ruby Sapphire, which is a hugely influential deck, the cards that are bad in that particular matchup will thrive in the matchups that they're not. Like, Bend to My Will break the Ruby Sapphire matchup. This card
will sucks.
Talk to me. Talk that talk
There's
then.
no way.
Talk that talk.
7 listen to yourself. 7 cost uninkable. You're telling me by that turn, that card will discard what? 2 cards that didn't matter anyways? You could have inked that card anyways?
Did you forget yourself the color combination that you chose? You're playing T-Pose. You're playing Fishbone Quills.
How do you draw? What is your draw power? You're not playing Hiram.
Of course we're playing Hiram.
You're playing Hiram in a discard deck?
Yeah. No, this is not a discard deck. This is a green-blue deck that has a top end, that also has Hiram. It has Ice Block. We're talking about Under the Sea. We're talking about, like, You're Welcome. Like, if you want to, like, the item base works perfectly with the strategy. Like, I have Ice Blocks.
How do you board wipe with that deck? That deck sucks.
Under the Sea.
How do you reduce? How do you go from
Under
5
the
attacks
sea.
to? How do you go from 5 to like 2, which Under the Sea like hits?
The worst
What if it's
situation.
not- what
the
if it's
worst.
not
The worst situation
a
for
2
green
attack,
blue.
then what do you do?
The worst situation for
How do
Emerald
you out the Maui?
Sapphire.
The evasive Maui. How do you out it?
Why am I worried about the Maui?
Because he's evasive to hit that pummels to your Diablo.
I'm playing a hyper aggro deck that is, or I'm playing a hyper control deck like that is going to.
Aggro, you're doing all the.
We're playing a deck that has ice
He's
blocks.
controlling.
That has ice blocks for the little things, and has Under the Sea
Dude,
for
ice
everything
blocks.
that is 3 and less.
I hate that
Like
card.
you can have your Maui Shark. I'm saying that right now this deck plays with the Muses, also plays with Hiram, and plays an item song game
Okay,
that has a top
nah.
end.
I think that deck sucks. Honestly, I think Sapphire Steel definitely has the best support this set because of a couple of cards that I've mentioned before, but one of them is going to be Alice. It's one of the new cards that we get from the new set. it gives everyone ward. Like, it gives everyone ward. Like, I get that you have Under the Sea that could potentially, like, wipe Alice, but we also play a whole new world, and the whole new world will actually secure. So, like, since I play Alice on 3, so you go Tipo on 2, Alice on 3, and then Beast or whoever on 5, because we'll have 5 inks.
Are you sure you're playing a whole new world in this deck?
Absolutely, because like it guarantees that if you Alice and protect the 5-drop, the turn after that, that 5-drop sinks a whole new world. Because the problem before with
Cogsworth
the
has
deck,
ward, Justin.
well, you don't always have to play, and you don't always have Cogsworth. Cogsworth's always not the good card on 5 too. It could be Beast, it could be Chenpo. Dude, imagine Chenpo and Alice in the same deck. How do you out that board? Like you just don't out that board.
Wait, so like now we're playing 25 Inkables in blue steel? Like, is that what you're telling me?
Well,
Is it now we're
dude,
playing like
okay,
Alice
first of
and
all-
Fishbone Quill and
first of
Tipo
all-
and we're playing whole new
first of
world
all-
and Grab Your Swords? Like,
we're not
talk,
playing Grab Your Swords.
Talk
All
that
right.
talk.
Okay, don't give misinformation to these people.
Okay. Talk
Grab
that
Your
for-
Sword
talk that to me.
sucks. All right, whoever's playing Grab Your Swords now, even, please stop playing that card. It's Twin Fire or Twin Shot, whatever that card from set 6 is. That is the new card. That's gonna replace Grab Your Sword because it's not a song; it's an action.
So now you're
Ursula
actively
can't-
discarding cards from your hand in the deck.
Welcome
that is.
to Sapphire Steel, bro. That's why we play. That's why we play a whole new world.
Have you ever been on turn 5 as a blue steel player, waiting for the guy to your right to discard your last card?
Right.
You are cooked.
Well,
Also, you guys are forgetting. You're talking about all these good
I'm
characters.
favored into
Go,
this
go,
matchup.
Mufasa.
I'm
I
favored
hear
into
you.
this matchup.
Listen, you guys are
Green Steel,
forgetting
absolutely.
Strength of a Raging Fire, double sung by Ursula's taking out whatever you're putting on the board. I now have the Heffalumps card, which is going to stop your
Alex. It's all
Mufasa.
good.
Your Mufasa's not even questing.
Oh, so you're like on turn 7
Listen.
going to have the Heffalumps in your hand?
Of
Like that-
course!
Yeah, that didn't get inked earlier, dude.
Of
You're gonna
course.
play Heffalumps and Woozle?
Well, that's
Absolutely.
true.
Have
How,
fun.
how does your Mufasa go sideways if Heffalum's played? What does Mufasa do?
How's your-
Challenge?
Do you not think that we're not?
We don't talk
playing-
about
we're
Bruno.
challenged?
Hello?
Like, are we not playing
Bruno?
Diamond?
Hello?
What the hell?
Like, are you saying that I'm
we
not playing
forgetting?
Dime in my deck right now? Heffalumps and Woozles?
Dime.
Heffalumps.
How about
Steel
every-
guy?
Heffalumps. Hiram's not questing. Your Mufasa's not questing.
That's actually kind of sick now that I think about it.
Listen.
Because we stand it and then.
Heffalumps.
We stand and do what? Look at you pass?
Look, I'm gonna talk.
Dude. Because that color combination, it's copium.
Well, they got-
everyone hyped it up because it's a new toy, it's a new shiny toy. It's not real. People are just like, oh, let's play with the new cards. I get it.
He got bent
I
three
get
terms
it.
ago.
I get
He
it.
got bent to my will 3 terms ago, just like you
Sapphire
did.
Steel is the best deck, hands down.
I'm going to on turn 5. On
hands
turn
down.
5, you will have no cards in your hand. You will have no
On
cards in your
purpose.
hand.
I just fishbone quill it. I'm at 6 lore. I mean,
Oh
6
yeah,
ink.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a 6 ink. What do you have? Your Diablo's dead because I'm playing the Twin Fire. You can't target any of my cards because
Hang
they're
on.
ward.
Too
So what
many
do you
things
have?
going on right now. You think we're playing Diablo and we're playing items and we're playing the action economy?
I mean, your deck sucks already, so might as well add.
You don't
a card
even
that's
know
good.
what I'm playing. And I think
You
that,
might as well add a card that has some kind of
you
value.
don't know what.
Mufasa's so far away. You don't have a hand card. How do you draw?
Johnny, can you come back and help me out here, please? These guys don't even know
And you,
what
what
I'm
are you
playing in
drawing?
Green
Well,
Sapphire.
you're not going to have a hand either against
They
Green
don't even
Steel.
understand.
Where's your
Like-
hand coming from?
What are you talking about?
Where's your
I
hand
play-
coming
I-
from?
He dumps it. He dumps
I'm
the whole
dumping.
thing.
Yeah, where's your
Alright.
hand? Where's your hand?
Alright,
Your
alright,
hand's in the
alright,
discard
alright,
pile.
alright, alright.
Your hand is also in the
Let's-
discard pile. Green Steel.
Let's bring it back. Let's reel it back, and let's go into our final arguments. Again, I'll give you guys about another 30 seconds to just final thoughts on why you chose your answer, why it's better than the other answers. We'll start again with you, Miles. 30 seconds.
I think that I'm gonna pick back up right where I ended.
Sure.
Is that I think that because this is a deck strategy, and I'll give it to Justin and Abe here, in that Emerald Sapphire, not a strategy that we have seen before, but the fact that it can play on 4 different axes. We can play the Ursula axis, we can play the items, we can play the actions, we can play Mufasa. This deck has everything that we have in overpowered characters, from Hiram to Diablo, and everything in between. How do you know what it is that you are playing? This deck can take you from, on turn 5, from 6
2
cards in your hand
seconds.
playing Ruby Sapphire to none.
2, 1. Final thoughts.
Stand on it.
Final thoughts. I did give you an extra 5 seconds, so we'll give it an extra 5 seconds to everyone else. Abe starts now. Final thoughts.
I like the blue-green. I think there's some potential there with the Bent in my will. I think it's the only deck that could play it, honestly, because you could ramp to it. The Yago's awesome. I still think Green Steel's the best deck because, again, you're dumping hand very quickly, and you also have the destruction, the spells to kill stuff. You have the Strength of the Raging Fire, the Let the Storm Rage On. Ursula double singing them is just amazing. I mean, I don't know how you beat it. I honestly don't. I think that deck is still the strongest. You have no hand by turn 5, 6, 7, or your opponent doesn't have a hand.
5 seconds.
And then they're top decking. Good luck top
2,
decking.
You're not wrong.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts. All right, Justin. 35 seconds starting now.
Since you stole my Green Steel as an answer, I'm just actually going to pivot from that. So since Green Steel is the best deck, let's just say, per se, that makes Sapphire Steel counter the best deck, which makes Sapphire Steel actually the best deck. Because if Green Steel is like being played by like higher tier people, and everyone's just going to copy the list anyways, because that's what people do in TCGs. So Green Steel is going to be everywhere, which means Sapphire Steel puts itself in the position where it actually combats the best
5
deck.
seconds.
Like that's what makes the best deck. It's
2,
meta dependent. It's not
1.
because of the cards.
All right. So, great arguments. I'm glad you came alive halfway through there, Abe, because at first I thought you were just a bystander. I didn't know if we swapped you out with like a cardboard
You almost
figure
didn't need to say anything
for a second.
Listen, man.
But anyway, I'm going to go over it just real quick. Justin, you did make a point to Miles as far as what is your draw. I'm not too sure where that comes from because, as you know, there's plenty of draw, including maybe one of the stronger draws in Hyrule. So I'm not too sure with that argument. But I do like the argument of the Alice gives a guaranteed a whole new world target. No matter what, you can't get rid of it. Especially that Alice Chinpo is very, very disgusting because then Alice lives a lot of the time past that turn and can continue on. Miles, you had a lot. It has a lot of top end. You can start quick with the ramping, so that's the addition that Green gets. I like that point. The under the sea point of being able to have that sort of board wipe now outside of having steel or red.
Bye,
I like
Alice.
that point.
See ya.
You did have you did have
bye,
several.
Smee.
It has items. It has songs, strong characters. You made that point, and then no cards by turn 5. Which I do also like Justin's counter argument to that, which he is already gonna just have no hand. He's just gonna empty his hand when that happens, and then at that point,
Because of course he'll have Smee and Alice and
Sure.
all of his
and
aggro
then
characters.
Abe, I did the one point that I will say I gave to you for this one was that it did add the song that prevents something that could be actually hurtful towards Green Steel, which
Big
is
card.
that song.
Big card.
I forgot what it's called
I agree.
exactly, but
Heffalumps and Woozles.
yeah, but it
Woozles,
prevents
there you go.
Hiram from doing the draw, which just makes
I
Green Steel
found that
stronger against Red Blue and
strong.
Blue Steel, anything playing Hiram. So I like that point. Overall, I will say, Abe, I'm gonna have to knock you out of this one. So between Justin and Miles, I think Blue Steel's the better deck, the better answer, but I think Miles gave the better argument, so I'm going to give this first point to Miles.
Boo.
We'll take it, Johnny. I'll take the Blue Steel matchup all day. If they want to play their Alice into their Smee conveniently when they have that draw, do you know what it's like to play Blue Steel? Like, sometimes you have Cogsworth Smee, sometimes you don't. What, are you, like, actively now mulliganing away all of your popsicles?
All right. Let's save the arguments for episode 2 or something. All right, well, we're going to move on to question 2 here. We will start with Abe on this one, but the question is, if another card were to be nerfed, Buckied, for example, which card should it be and why? Abe, you have 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Oh my God, only 30 seconds.
Opening argument.
Hiram is broken. What
No.
more is there to say? This thing is a inkable card that draws on play, that draws on quest.
It's fair.
It's a 6-ass. It's
not
hard
wrong.
as hell to get rid of. If you're not playing a red deck and you're not brawling it, it's damn near impossible to get rid of this thing.
What if you are playing both of those things?
Uninterrupted. We're
Listen,
not-
hey, I need some seconds back off that.
Yeah, you
This guy needs to be nerfed. Make him uninkable. Make him have a less of a willpower. He's too strong. We argued what makes a card a good card in one of our
3,
previous podcasts,
2,
and it's on play.
1. That's it. All right.
Wait.
Good points.
Wait,
good
no,
points.
wait.
No arguments yet.
That was actually my Hiram.
Fuck Hiram. He needs to be nerfed.
He's probably got 20 free ones in the back for you. So anyway, let's move on to Justin. What is your answer? 30 seconds here.
Hot take, man. I know Hiram's conversation. You just said Hiram. Honestly, Popsicle. If you take Popsicle out of the equation, Hiram is a subpar card because Hiram has to pop cards like Ice Block, Fishbone Quill, which you don't want to pop, Vitalis Fear, which you don't want to pop, the Ruby Chronicon, you don't want to pop them, Maurice's Workshop, you don't want to pop them. Popsicles and
5 seconds.
And it's the only card that you actually want to pop and place for free. So
2,
you need to be
1.
uninkable. The card needs to be
Final.
uninkable.
All right. All right. Miles, if another card were to be nerfed, which card should it be? 30 seconds.
I'm gonna be like the mop here. It's Diablo. Like it is the current strongest active card in the game. Like this is a card that single-handedly, if left unanswered, takes over any game situation. If you're not in Ruby or you're not playing Steel, which is currently not a great color relative to the current game situation, like what are you gonna fire the cannons?
I
This
just started playing.
it's in the cove. Are you laughing at me now? By the way, my clock. Like this card, if left unanswered, ends the game.
5 seconds.
There are no other cards in this game as oppressive,
3,
as pressuring, evasive.
1. All right. Well, I mean, you can start off if you want to, because we are in open discussion now. No holds bar.
I feel like I'm literally fighting like children on a playground right now. Like Diablo is over and above, and without any kind of contest, the most powerful card in Lorcana.
There's answers to Diablo. Many answers.
There's too many answers to Diablo.
Hiram does not have that many answers. Hiram is hard as hell to get off the board. Diablo is a simple fire the cannon, smash,
Hiram-
Twin Fire.
Hiram,
grab your
You need so
sword,
many things
which
to
that
protect the
card
Diablo.
sucks.
You guys
You need
need
the
two
cove.
people just
You
to
need the
fight me,
cove.
which is
You
the
need
perfect example.
You need so many
You-
things.
you-
You have to
you-
shift Diablo. You have to find the shift song. You have to
Hiram-
find the 1, the 3, the song, the code, just to get him to stay on the board.
Yeah, keep talking.
You just-
He's the
Yeah,
green
go
seal
ahead,
guy.
go ahead.
He's the green seal guy.
Hiram is contingent upon another card and other cards to succeed. You were just talking about how
with
Red
20
Blue
items.
needs to eat
20 items in the
Yeah,
deck.
20 items.
You
Yeah,
were,
obviously
you were
get
just
one.
talking about how Hiram has to eat Ruby Chromicon and the Ice Block. This whole deck is built around those situations and is so powerful that it doesn't need those cards to succeed. Wait, you think you play Ruby Chromicon because you want to? No, you play it because of Hiram. Diablo exists completely in a vacuum.
That's what makes him fair.
That's our only thing to check Hiram as well. That's Green's only thing to check Hiram is to put that Diablo sideways.
Wait, are you
That's-
arguing on behalf of Diablo right now?
That he's not as overpowered as you're making it seem. It's a
I'm gonna
card
step-
that we
I'm gonna
need.
step
Here's
back
the thing
here.
too. Here's the
I'm
thing
gonna step
too.
back
Here's
here.
the thing. We're talking about green blue having a draw like a draw engine.
Yeah.
Who? You didn't even want to put Diablo in that deck.
I'm
You're telling me
defending my
Hiram?
case.
You're telling me Hiram is your draw power, but you don't. Blue and green don't even have enough items for
I'm
Hiram
not
to
playing.
be.
I'm not playing a mid-range draw deck.
Okay,
I'm
so
playing
if you're not
a
playing Diablo,
top end.
the card that you say it needs to be nerfed, but it's not in your deck. How does that make sense?
What other card in the game draws
Diablo.
2 cards on play and on quest?
I think you guys might have forgotten.
Without Popsicle, Hiram is ass.
Now go to blue. Then
Hiram's
everybody would just play
literally nothing.
Blue Steel, Fortis
He's
Fury.
now
sure.
arguing against you, by the way.
But here's the thing, right? You can go like you can tell me like, oh, Blue Steel can just play Fortis Sphere, but you have to play Blue Steel just to make Hiram a
Gentlemen,
good card.
Hiram's still broken in Blue
Gentlemen.
Steel.
It's okay.
He's
When
still
was
broken
the-
in Blue
When
Steel.
was the last time you guys built a deck?
Yesterday,
Yeah.
Days ago.
actually 5 hours ago.
What was a piece of
was
that
Blue
deck
Steel,
building?
actually.
Were you worried about Hiram or Diablo first?
I was worried about Mufasa actually, or Simba. My bad.
I'm worried about
the
Hiram.
5-drop Simba.
I'm worried about
You're
Hiram.
more worried about
How am I
Hiram
getting
than-
Hiram off the board because Diablo
There are
can
one
be removed?
answers
Diablo
to
can
that
be removed
card.
easier than Hiram.
Yeah. How many answers did you have for Diablo in that deck?
If you're playing Steel, you have many.
I'm playing
answers.
Steel. I'm not worried about
If
Diablo.
you're playing Ruby, you
I'm
have
playing,
answers.
dude. I'm playing Sapphire.
I'd
Steel.
love to see the top eight.
I'm
I'd love to see the
Sisu,
Steel
Ice
top
Block.
eight.
favored. I am favored
Sisu
against
Ice Block kills Diablo. How many?
Diablo's dead.
I can go all day about what kills Diablo.
Absolutely.
Sisu Ice Block kills Diablo.
Absolutely.
Brawls kill Diablo.
Absolutely.
Let the Storm Rage on. Fire
Twin
the Cannon.
Fire, Fire the
Smash.
Cannon, yep.
Yep.
All of the decks that you guys are talking about are either the first
Simba, 7
or
down.
second best deck in this format. The first is playing Diablo.
Storm Rage is on Amber Steel. Like
Zeus,
finals was
Zeus,
Amber
you-
Steel versus Green
You're
Steel.
on the draw playing a Cinderella,
Pegasus.
and you think that you're going to
Red
get away
Pegasus.
with this?
Can I
with
Yes.
a
All the
Cinderella?
evasive
Can I
one
get
two
some
drops.
arguments
Because
for and
you
against
need-
Popsicle? We haven't really gone over that.
Because you need the one drop to shift in an action, just for I just need to draw Cinderella in an action.
Hang on.
That's it.
And Johnny asked you to talk about Popsicle.
Yeah, we want
and
to
its
talk about. So
relative power.
we haven't gone over Popsicle whatsoever. What's the argument for that being nerfed, and what's the argument against it being nerfed?
That's true. Okay, so Popsicle is like
Why
I said.
is it overpowered?
Like Popsicle is overpowered because it's an inkable card that costs nothing to heal. If the card were to say, if it was uninkable, right? That's the nerf that I wanted it to be. Or
Right.
it's inkable and it stays that way, but the text needs to say remove damage from a damaged character, and you can't just play it on anyone because that makes Tamatoa and then the
Pop it just to
Popsicle,
pop
like the
it.
whole thing, like just more broken because you can just pop whoever.
I know that
you
Justin's in a
want.
tough spot right now,
I'm
but
not.
I have to be honest.
Again,
about this.
like
Ladies
if
and
you
gentlemen,
if you play
the-
Fortis
Popsicle
Sphere,
has been reprinted.
Okay,
it is one
here's
of
the
the
thing.
first cards in
Here's the thing.
Lorcana
Here's
to
the thing.
ever be reprinted.
If-
I was trying to balance it right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Fortis Sphere, if you read it, you need to pay 1 to banish this item to give someone bodyguard.
What
Popsicle's fine.
Popsicle
what
has
percentage-
nothing in it.
Popsicle's fine.
Popsicle's just like
What?
whoop.
What?
Hiram
how
is
about
the
you?
problem.
You have to have one more
You're
ink
lost,
extra.
Abe.
we
We're not
nerfed
talking-
Hiram and we make Popsicle.
You're
a-
lost, brother.
If you
We're not
remove
talking about that
Popsicle from the
anymore.
equation,
Dude,
Hiram's an okay card. Like literally, he's an okay card.
I think that.
Or we nerf Hiram
I
and
think
Popsicle
that,
becomes
I
a.
think that again,
No,
guys,
okay
we
card.
missed
That's
the
okay.
point. Like, this card is not overpowered.
Which
It's
one?
been reprinted.
What is?
Your card.
It is
Popsicle.
overpowered.
No,
It is.
It literally has a reprint that's in front of you. It's not overpowered.
It's not a reprint. It's on steel. You have to play Sapphire Steel just to make Hiram a good
not
card.
an exact-
All right, I'm gonna.
Outside of Sapphire
not
I'm
Steel,
gonna
an
that's
end the
exact-
conversation there. The open discussion. We're gonna go into final thoughts. Abe, you started this one off, so you're gonna lead with the final thoughts. 30 seconds now.
Final thoughts on my card? Or sorry.
Why your card's better than the other? Why your answer is better than the other?
Deserves to be banned.
Sure. Again, it's a card that sees value on play and on quest, which there are not too many cards in our meta that does that. It's also a 6 willpower, which is extremely hard to get off the board, and it's inkable for cost. It's relatively low cost for what it does, and in its deck that it ramps in, it comes down on 3. It's insane. It's an insane card. It could be either nerfed by a simple
3
make it
seconds.
uninkable, make it less
2,
less
1.
willpower.
That's it. Done. Justin, why is Popsicle better than Hiram and Diablo?
Again, if you remove Popsicle from the equation, he wouldn't even say Hiram. So if you fix Popsicle and Popsicle becomes an uninkable 1-drop, it makes it that the deck that it's powerful with like Sapphire Steel and actually Ruby Sapphire, it makes it that you are definitely limited to playing your uninkables. You can't even play like a high amount of beat preps or even like Sisu like that or Ice Block. You have to like min max it if
3 seconds.
Popsicle was
2,
uninkable, and that's the fix
1,
to that card.
End. All right. And Miles, why is Diablo the correct answer?
I want to give my opponents like a piece on this because I think that there are pieces on both of your guys' sides. Guys, Diablo is a bigger menace in this meta because of how fast it comes down. We have time for preparing for Hiram. Like, Hiram is a card that facilitates an engine that will get you ahead on turn 3, or turn 5, or turn 7, and continue to. Diablo is a card that will come down on turn 2, will also sing Storm Rage on, killing your 1-drop, and then proceed to fucking stomp you. Gentlemen, is there any contest here?
3.
Are you,
comes
are,
down.
2.
like, are
If
we,
you
are
draw
we
it,
kidding?
1.
if you draw
Hiram
it,
comes
That's
out one
it,
turn
that's
later.
it. That's it. All right. This was a really good one. I have to give that to everybody. Everyone did a really good debate on that. It's only the second question of this series history, but it's going to be the hardest question I've had to decide so far. But just to go over real quick, Abe, you're a lot more active in this one, so obviously that shows that you're very passionate about the Hiram. I like you. You started off. You were the first one. I mean, you did start off the question. There's many answers to Diablo. It makes sense. You named things like Smash, Brawl, Popsicle, or sorry, not Popsicle, Ice
Fire.
Block, and
Twin
then
Shot.
removal from there. You said that there is less to take out Hiram, which is on its face, I think, true. You didn't give too many examples of the difference and how there's less, because a lot of the examples that kill Diablo also kill Hiram. But it takes a lot for Diablo to get out, so a combo. If you play Steel Ruby, you have a lot of answers to Diablo. The reason why Hiram is big is because it's on the play and quest, which I like. 6, but you could play it on 3 as opposed to 4. So a lot of good answers there. And so for Miles, you had a lot of good takes as far as Diablo takes a lot to get rid of. If you put him in Cove, you got to ice block him, then you got to brawl him. Just something that it just takes a lot. It doesn't take a lot for him to come down. All it takes is a discard of an action, and then he's shifted, and you don't pay anything in order to do it. When you're talking about deck building, that was very, very interesting take because I do believe that if you are deck building in this current meta, you are kind of building some sort of tech around getting rid of Diablo. It kind of feels nonsensical to avoid that. You did bring up that Fortisphere is already a balanced popsicle, which actually I think would have been a good point for you, Justin, to make as far as saying, like, yeah, that does go to show that popsicle is too strong because they literally came out with a nerfed version of a card. True. But you didn't come up with that, so you didn't bring that up. Anyway, but Justin, moving on to you. You did bring up a few good points for Popsicle as far as you're talking about, or at least your argument against Diablo as far as you're saying that Miles is talking about it's a card that needs to be nerfed. However, it's not being built into the green Sapphire deck that he literally brought up in question number 1.
Make it make sense.
So how good is it really?
Man.
It costs nothing to heal the Popsicle, and it draws a card. So you're saying that hand-in-hand makes Tamatoa just inherently better, because now you get to banish the Popsicle and bring it back without actually having to heal anything, which I think is a really strong point. Also, you brought up the point that Hiram is just okay without Popsicle, which I also believe is a good point, being that if you check any deck that's playing that's playing Hiram, I kind of combined them together. You're playing both Hiram and Popsicle in that deck. So with that being said, with all the points, this is a very tough one again, like I mentioned, but I'm going to have to give the point this question to Justin. All strong arguments, though. Very strong arguments.
Popsicle too strong.
Nerf Popsicle?
Nerf Popsicle.
The first
100%.
one.
Nobody
But we're
talks
going to
about
move
it now.
right along here to question number 3.
I don't think
Our
you gave
previous
the
question
Abe
winner, Justin, is going to start this one off. And the question is, which card from set 6 will make the most impact in competitive Lorcana? 30 seconds opening argument, Justin. Go.
So I was actually looking at the cards earlier. I want to say Alice. I don't know what her sub name is, but Alice from set 6 has to be a really impactful card because she allows your character's ward in itself is strong, but to have it on that character and give it to someone while you're questing for 2, I feel like that's like a 3-for-1 thing. Because
5 seconds.
if you're giving it to someone that has a lot of value like Beast and
2,
Chempo, it's
1,
really good.
and opening arguments. Thank you for that. Alice is good. I hear you. Moving on to Miles. What is your answer for the most impactful set 6 card?
It's Go-Go Tamago, guys, and it's not close. This is a card that immediately answers Diablo, which is a huge piece of what the Emerald Mirror needed. This is a card that comes down, can not only trade and create a threat for a Diablo, but can also just gain 4 lore, 5 lore out of nowhere. It is a card that counters Hiram in the most active sense of the word. We just talked about how Popsicle and Hiram were as powerful as they are, and now when they are exerted,
2, 1.
we have an evasive threat.
That's it.
Quest
That's
for
it.
5.
Stop it.
All right. Abe, what did you choose as being the most impactful card coming into competitive Lorcana from set 6?
This one's easy, Johnny. It's clearly Simba, legendary Amber card.
Okay.
Simple enough. It just readies everything on summon. So you're talking aggro decks that are coming up being really big. You create a wide board and you slam this Simba down and everything gets restood. I mean, all your daisies, your Lilos, whatever you're playing, and there's a lot of good shift targets as well. So you shift on top of the little steel one or the amber one, and you're good to go. You turn this guy sideways and instant impact. All your characters are restood.
All right. So now moving into the open discussion. The floor is yours, guys. Start wherever you like.
I have a question. So when you mentioned Go-Go, are you putting Go-Go in your Emerald Amethyst stack? Is that what you're saying?
I think
she was the answer that you needed?
I think that Go-Go replaces Sir Hiss in a way that is very powerful. I think that Go-Go
But Emerald Amethyst is what you said, right?
is was the like I'm an Emerald Amethyst player myself,
Right.
but like I think that like this card is much more effective in Emerald Steel, right? Where you're able to like actually deal direct damage and then get the exacted value on playing 4 and gaining like lore off of damage. I think that it provides reach for the Emerald Amethyst deck that struggled to succeed within a format choked with Emerald Steel, which could mess up its
That's
2
what I
drops.
was gonna say. It's perfect that you mentioned Emerald Amethyst because my counter to that is that Amethyst has a lot of answer to Diablo, so it's not just go and because like
Justin,
you
this
have-
is
you
the
have-
first
you have
card that has
Peter
ever
Pan,
existed.
You have
that-
Peter Pan Shadow and Peter Pan, whatever the other Peter Pan
have
is.
you ever, Justin?
They both.
Justin,
Kill.
I don't think.
And now we have a new genie.
I don't
as well.
think you understand what paying
Go-Go
for after a bonsai attacks into a Hiram and gaining 3 lore, right, on your
When are
4
you
drop
playing this
with
Go-Go?
evasive.
What turn are you playing
On
this Go-Go?
4.
It's not on 2 because you just mentioned Bonsai. On 4?
No.
So your turn
Bonsai-
4? Oh, because she's a... you
Yes,
need to pay-
gain
you need to pay
3
2.
lore and have evasive, brother. Like I think that you're in the woods right now.
So you're telling me you're playing this on 4 when you can just play Peter Pan on 3
This is your
and
4
solve the
cost.
Diablo?
This is your 4 cost play.
Is
Yeah,
this your 4
I agree.
cost
This
play
is your 4
in
cost play.
Emerald Green deck?
And that thing's getting smoked off the
Over
board.
Genie,
What's it, 2
over-
willpower?
Over Rabbit?
Let
You're
the
playing
storm
Go-Go?
rage on. That
How
thing's
much,
gone.
How much
You
you
might
gaining,
get-
bro?
you might-
Wait, how much lore?
you might get one
lore-
discard off
Okay,
it.
hold
The
on.
fact that
if
you
it's
guys
Hiram,
are as
if you're in
aggressive
front,
about
if you're in front of Hiram, how much lore are you get? How much lore are you getting? You're in front of Hiram, you play Go-Go.
Couple
how,
lore.
How much lore are you getting?
my
couple
bonsai's
lore.
on 2. I'm gonna
Sure.
attack now
getting 3?
rather than questing into
3
this.
lore.
You're getting
Wow,
3
guys,
lore?
guys.
So you're telling me your bonsai,
turn
hold on,
4,
hold on.
he's gaining 3 lore.
So your bonsai didn't quest. It swung to the Hiram, so you could gain 3 lore. That card sucks.
Listen, man, the Alice isn't too much better, bro. I mean, come on. It gives a character ward.
What?
Okay, let's
Have
hear
you played last season? Canon. Medusa.
This guy
the
is
small
about to.
Sisu.
This guy's about to go to 25.
turn that thing
All the
sideways.
songs, all the songs
You turn that thing sideways,
Steel
it's
Song
gone.
Plays.
You are about to
Ooh.
go to 25.
What's the willpower on the,
Inkables,
Alice?
so that
Chenpo?
you can play a
Okay.
3-drop character.
Okay,
that
imagine
is
me this
going-
world. I play Alice, right? And then on turn, I T-poed already. I whatever. This is turn 5. I play Chenpo on bodyguard, and Alice gives Chenpo
When
ward.
did you play the Alice?
Turn 3. I turn 2 T-po
Oh, so
or 1 jump, whatever.
Okay, so
and then
you,
on turn 3,
Okay, so you didn't play Hiram, and now we're
I didn't play
playing
Hiram.
Alice.
I didn't play Hiram
And now
because
we're
I'm
playing
about to a
Alice.
whole new world you next turn after because I'm guaranteed this Chenpo's living 4/7 ward. You can't. How? Okay,
I think
so
you
how
need
do you
a
reach,
whole
how do you, how do you
new.
reach
I
Alice?
think rather than a whole new world, I think you need a whole new deck
Give me a
list.
card in that scenario.
You
that
need a
outs Alice.
whole new
one
deck
card,
list.
just one card from set 1 to set 6.
You are
There's not a
playing-
single
The
card.
ward
that
is
outs
strong.
that.
I
is
agree
a
with the
brick
ward
fest.
being
Nothing
strong.
else that.
A brick fest of
Your
blue
move
steel.
We're
also
talking
doesn't out
about
that. Your
a
Go-Go
card that's
Tomago
gonna have the
stack.
most impact out of this set.
To
You
be
guys
honest
are
with you,
missing out
man,
on Simba.
Like you're gonna
are you
play a
talking about? You
conditional 5-cost uninkable card that is going to be contingent upon a Simba bodyguard surviving. That is already contingent, like is already target 1.
Even if we play
Target
that thing on
one.
5, even
An
if we play that thing
uninkable
on 5,
on
it's
it.
still
You know,
good.
he mentioned
The shift is a
Daisy,
bonus.
Lilo.
The shift is
Brother,
a bonus.
brother, you're playing a 17 uninkable
So you're
aggro
playing like
deck and you're playing a
27
5-drop.
inkables?
The shift
What
is
are
a
you- what are you
bonus, man.
aiming
Even if
to
you drop
do?
that thing on
I don't want to
5,
argue about Abe right now. I don't want
you're
to argue with
spinning
Abe
all
right
your
now.
cards
I don't wanna
sideways.
argue-
You're slamming the
If
Simba.
they-
Everything
dude,
gets
so you're telling
restood.
me-
What is there not to love about
Okay,
this
so,
card?
okay, so what turn are you playing Simba?
You could shift him if you
One
wanted
turn-
to.
one turn-
You could
one
shift
turn.
him on 3 if you need. If you
On
wanted to,
3?
you could.
You're saving your Lilo?
You could. Or
After
you
it
play him
gets
on. You could play him on
storm
5.
raged on
He's good as a 5
by
drop.
his Diablo.
He's
that
good as a
so
5 drop
proud
to
of?
restand all of your characters.
His
All your
Go-Go
little
Tomago,
aggro
dude,
guys.
his Go-Go Tomago is gonna swing on your Simba
Listen,
and gain
your
3 lore, I
Sapphire
guess.
still-
Oh, Gogo's so good now, right?
Your
Like,
Sap-
I guess.
and then all of a
No,
sudden,
I'm laughing
all
at
of
your
a sudden-
Go-Go.
Your
That both of
Sapphire
your
still
cards
can't even
suck.
get around Daisy Duck to
Do
begin
you
with.
know that, like,
now that
late
we're
game-
restanding all the
like,
Daisy
late
Ducks,
game
what are you
now,
doing?
Like late
You're
game,
gonna
like
swing to Simba.
late game after my Claire
Your
Rebellion.
bonsai dies, and you gain
4-4
3
stat
lore.
line. 4-4 stat line on this Simba.
There is
Both of your cards are ass,
a
dude.
2-drop.
You're not Medusa in this thing.
There is a 2-drop.
So how many unlinkables do you
inkable.
play?
There is a 2-drop inkable card that is about to come out
Which
that
is?
can not only deal with Diablo, but can also gain an amount of lore irrelevant to how well we have been doing, how bad the board state is.
I turned 4. Got it.
Turn 4?
Do you know what that
You gotta
card's
waste your
called?
turn 4 play on that.
How about your turn 7?
So
the
your genie-
reach of this card.
Your libraries,
That thing
that,
at
not
two-
now,
libraries.
now
Your
all of a
stat
sudden,
line?
you
Your
guys
Queen's
are.
Castle, you just don't play those cards
Okay,
anymore.
fine, you guys can eat me
You
up.
don't-
You guys can eat me up
you
and
don't
not let me
play
talk.
Genie anymore?
You guys not let me talk. But
Oh,
like,
no.
like
All
now on
right,
turn
all
7,
right.
turn
I
8,
love
turn
the
9, turn
conversation.
10.
Simba's eating both of those
I
cards
love the
alive.
conversation, we're going to go ahead and get into our final thoughts. So, Justin, why is Alice a stronger argument than Go-Go and Simba?
You need to look at all the cards being played and set 5. And most of those cards are answered by Ward. Because Ward is super strong right now because of the small Sisu, Medusa, and your beast, tragic hero beast, surviving and not being able to die to Medusa anymore. That's a huge plus. That's the reason why we didn't play Sad Beast anymore in Sapphire Seal, because of Medusa and cards that just targets him vulnerably. But now you actually have an answer to all of your 5 drops. It doesn't have to be just one card.
That's final thoughts. All right. So now, Miles, why is Go-Go the correct answer?
Johnny, anybody who's ever played Emerald can tell you that pushing over the line is always the biggest piece of it. We have goats if we're playing Emerald Amethyst. If we're playing Emerald Steel, now we have removal like Zeus that can deal 5 damage to a character, brother, on a sing goat. And then on turn 5, play a Go-Go to gain 5 lore. This is the same card, by the way, gentlemen.
5 lore.
5 lore. The same card that can trade with the Diablo on 2 if they need to. The fact that there's even a conversation about this is nuts. This is a card that is a 2-drop that Blue-Red struggles with that ends the game
2,
late game.
1, and Abe, why is Simba going to make the most impact on Disney Lorcana?
He just mentioned ending games. That Simba is a game fucking ender. You literally spin your board, slam this guy, restand your whole board, and tell your opponent GG's, because you need to out all these standing characters. I mean, this card is insane. Shifts on 3. The shift targets are amazing. The 1-cost Steel Simba, the 2-cost Amber one, they're great cards. It's unlimited potential here. You're standing your whole board. You got the Lilo that comes back every turn. You can restand that thing because it comes in exerted. There's just so many possibilities.
1.
They're endless with this card.
That's it. All right, another good one. And just to go over, Justin, you had a lot of really good points as far as giving Ward while questing for 2 is just a quick and easy one. That, I think, on its face is just pretty strong, giving something else Ward while also questing for 2. Your counter argument that Emerald Amethyst already has answers to Diablo, so making the point that Go-Go is just going to be an additional answer. It's like why you may have more efficient answers than Go-Go to get rid of Diablo. And then you're just going to challenge characters just to gain lore. I think that there was a strong counter argument from Miles, especially when he mentions as far as being able to in Green Steel Zeusing something and then going for 5 is actually a strong counter argument to that. But also that Alice is strong against prevalent target destruction currently right now, giving things Ward. So things like Medusa, Brawl, all of that is now muted, I would say. Takes turn 4 for Go-Go to be useful was another strong argument from Justin. I didn't really hear, I guess, a counter to that from Miles other than maybe just being able to get over the finish line, which was strong. There's a lot of instances where Green needs to just get over that finish line, and Go-Go can do that for you. And then the final tragic hero surviving Medusa. It is a strong reason why a lot of people don't play as many, if any at all, is because of Medusa. So being able to give him Ward, keeping him alive is strong. Miles, you gain a lot of lore out of nowhere. You can use it on anything that has any amount of damage, and you'll just gain the lore if you play it on 4. It adds an extra element. Strong in green amethyst, where you deal damage, then you can gain from it. Contingent on so for the Simba argument, you're saying how it's very contingent on small Simba's living to be able to be shifted. So that was your argument against Simba, which is a strong argument. And then on top of that, deals with Diablo and gains lore. That is true. I mean, you play it on 2 to get rid of Diablo, so it is something that can get out there quicker to get rid of Diablo. And yeah, everything else I mentioned before pushes Green over the line, and you can Zeus and Go-Go gets you 5, which is actually really strong. Abe, I think your main point, honestly, that you mentioned a couple times was that it readies all cards, and that's the strength of it.
Well, what more can you
ask for?
Which is strong, and it's strong for aggro. It is hard to get a 4/4 stat line, out of there. Medusa doesn't get rid of it.
Quest for 2.
And then you were the one to specifically mention that there's a lot to get rid of Go-Go. We have a lot of cards, a lot of target destruction that can get rid of Go-Go. And then you did mention that the shift targets that Simba has are good. You have the one that discards and draws, and then you have the bodyguard. So good points from everybody. And
Johnny, you didn't mention the fact that Go-Go kills Diablo.
I did mention that actually. Yeah, I said that he is a.
If he can sit there for a whole turn.
Two ass.
Yeah.
And then the cove comes down and he just stares at Diablo.
Hey, if only you mentioned these points.
Yeah,
But
Go-Go,
anyway,
good luck.
This one I'm gonna have to go.
Go to sleep, bro.
I'll have
Go
to
to
give this one for the arguments with Justin. Once again.
Oh.
What was that?
Damn, it's hard
What
out
was the
here.
card? What did I say?
It's hard out here.
What did I say?
Alice.
Alice. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Alice has to turn sideways for the effect to happen. It's getting ran over.
All right.
Tempo.
Let's move along.
There's not a single card that
here.
has that. Nothing.
To question number 4, currently the points stand at Justin with 2, Miles with 1, and Abe with 0. Abe, it is
The weakest link.
actually you do need to get this one correct.
Ooh.
If you lose this one, I think you are officially out. Unless Justin wins this one again, then you have a chance. But anyway, the 4th question for this debate, which we'll go back to Miles as the start, is which card in Disney Lorcana is the most overrated? 30 seconds. Here you go, Miles.
I'm going to go with Flynn Rider, the Ruby 2/2. That
No
is the
way.
linchpin of Ruby Amethyst. I'm done with all this side talk, both of y'all. I think the reality of Ruby Amethyst is an incredible deck. Fantastic deck. One of the biggest issues with it, I think, is that it leans on this linchpin that is Flynn Sisu Castle, right? Chernobog in the front of it. Like, this is such a massive component of this deck's
5 seconds.
success and strategy. It is so easily destroyed. It is
2,
so easily dealt with.
1,
and it is not.
And that is it for opening arguments for Miles. Abe, what is your answer for which card is most overrated?
I'm going with Grab Your Sword here. Grab Your Sword is a pretty bad card in like most matchups. If you're going up against Ruby Sapphire or Ruby Amethyst, that card does nothing. If you're trying to tech it in for something like Green Steel, they're going to snipe it out of your hand way before you can use it. You literally have to top deck that thing, top deck it for it to be anywhere near useful. Otherwise, it sucks and it's uninkable. It's going to be sniped out of your hand or it's just stuck in your
5
hand doing
seconds.
nothing. Use it on Ruby Sapphire and do nothing.
2, 1.
Bad card.
All right. And Justin, what is your answer for what Disney Lorcana card is the most overrated?
Honestly, this card went from $33 to $20 because this card's overrated. Prince Naveen, guys, Amber Seal players, stop playing that card. Not at 4 or 3. 2, 1 the most. Because that card is
He's a set
uninkable.
late.
You are playing a card.
Naveen?
You are playing a card that is uninkable, and you have to get to 4 inks and a song in hand. Like, we live in the green steel world right now. You don't, and
5
Pete,
seconds.
you don't have a chance to play the songs that Naveen's
2,
play. He's uninkable.
1,
His stats is ass.
And that's it.
That's the guy that plays Whole New World.
I'm going
on
to just
turn
let you
4, right?
guys get right
And
into
also,
it.
yeah,
Floor's
loves it.
open.
Yeah. He
Oh,
loves
okay.
Home World.
Yeah,
Floor's
okay.
open.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I think I've learned on this show so far that like going hard first doesn't really pay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys know that your take's about 3 months old, and I think we knew that Naveen wasn't.
That's
a
not
great,
true.
yeah,
No.
Flynn
Because,
Rider
because
sucks,
when
by the way.
I
I
think immediately
No.
we knew
I
that
was
was not a
not-
4 of.
no, I
and then
was
people
not
went down to
playing-
2, and then 1, and then none.
no,
I would
pe-
pull up the list.
People were playing Naveen. Probably not at 4, like
We're not even talking about now, by
a
the way.
specific person would say. But Prince Naveen has like in an uninkable deck, an aggro.
You're playing
an aggro
you're
or
playing a
mid-range,
24
that card,
uninkable deck that is
it's playing
literally
from
hinged.
18 to 20 uninkable that deck.
I think
Anything less than that, what are you playing?
You are playing
A whole new world?
You are playing a deck that is a high roll machine. What other reason are you
Not
playing
like
this deck
Green
for?
Steel?
Like,
so you're telling me Green Steel's not high roll?
how else are? What do you high roll? That deck can win 5 different ways. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause here, and I want to move over here to.
I got something for you.
Grab Your Swords is a house, and currently, because of the prevalence of aggro, It is not as popular as it used to be.
When are you playing Grab Your Sword?
I'm telling you that against the green steel menace
Bro.
that
Green?
currently exists.
We live in a green
Ursula?
steel. I don't know what you live in.
Ursula
We live in a
sniping you?
green
I'm
Sudden
gonna
chill
let
taking
Justin
all of your
finish.
We live
cards?
in a green steel world, bro. If you're not playing grab your swords in your deck, I don't know what's going on.
Dude, Grab Your
I don't
Swords
know
is
what's going
terrible.
on with me.
Ursula sniping that thing. Sudden chill's taking it out of your hand. You are never
I'm adding
playing
it
that
to
card.
Ariel. I'm not keeping that card, bro. I'm always mulling it out. Like if
Then
you're
why
if
you
you're
think-
halfway decent, you wouldn't keep that card.
Sure.
You would only.
So you're running that card just to top deck it?
It sounds like
You're
it's,
running that
that what
card
you're
to
doing?
counter
it sounds
the
like it's
best
very
deck,
important.
which is green
It
steel.
sounds like it's very important.
Are you
to
running
me.
that card just to top deck
So you're
it because you don't
what
want
are
your
gonna do
opponent to
against
take it
green
from
I
your
understand
They
hand?
have Prince Shine. How do you kill Prince Shine?
I understand the
It's not the
power.
songs that you
I
play?
understand the
There's
power
no songs.
of grab your swords.
You grab your sword, Diablo, Prince Shine.
Never
what are they gonna do?
ever works.
Diablo,
It's
Diablo,
just
Prince
dead
Shine,
in the hand.
dead.
It's getting
Gone.
sniped. It's getting sniped. By
You
the
want
time
it-
you can
you
use
want
it,
it 2-0
Ursula
on a
2
DLC.
right on
It
time.
sounds
You want
to
it
me
2-0
Ursula
in a
2
DLC.
right on
If
time.
you don't-
sounds to me like
if you
you're-
don't play cards that
Always
runs
being
over a
sniped.
specific deck,
Always being sniped.
you're not in a good spot.
I gotta talk about Flynn Rider though for a second. That card sucks. It's not
I
overrated.
agree.
You're saying that it's overrated here?
It's super overrated. Yeah,
Here's the thing.
absolutely.
I'm gonna agree with you to an extent. It sucks because it could be easily wiped off the board.
So-
However, when that card is going off on blue-red, because if they don't have a brawl to out it, that thing is gaining tons of
do
lore.
you disagree that when you see a Naveen on 4 that it's not game breaking, dude?
So-
I'm saying that Flynn Rider is a card that is often played in these decks, and it is supposed to be their 2-drop linchpin of the rest of the strategy.
What's a better 2-drop
and then dies.
what's a better 2-drop?
We could talk about
and red purple.
Like we could talk about Cusco Llama.
That's not-
like we could talk about
that's not
like
You're
right.
gonna draw a card
We're
instead of put
talking about
pressure
a
on board.
deck. You asked me a question and then ran over me. I'm going to tell you that this deck, we're going late anyway, man. We're talking about Ruby Amethyst.
Ruby
Like,
Amethyst is about his early game.
Flynn Rider gains so much value.
So much
dude.
value. You play
get
that
him with
card,
the
I have to
Sisu
answer it.
afterwards, dude.
dies
Sisu,
to
your opponent has a
every
massive
throw.
hand.
Fire the
He
cannon.
just sits there and
Brawl.
gains.
Grab your
lore
sword.
Diablo
like
Dash
crazy.
is the same cards.
Well, it's funny
Like,
that you bring that up now. That's outstanding.
Diablo's
Dude,
This
Mr.
card.
Naveen, bro. Naveen, turn 4, whole new world is absolute bomb.
Can I
Okay,
tell you?
think
Can I
about
tell you
this.
how many times
Think about
I've
this.
kicked
You
Cloud
mentioned
Kicker
2
to Flynn
uninkable
and
cards.
won the game?
You need both uninkable
They-
cards in your hand.
Sure.
Cloud
And
Kicker
4 inks.
Sure.
Kick Cloud
So you're telling me
Kicker
you
in.
have all 3
Not
of
only
those?
a whole new world, you got Strength of the Raging Fire. Play it for free.
So you're
Let the
telling me
Storm
all
Rage
4
on.
you're
Play
gonna
it for
strength someone
free.
for what? For like 2?
Play it for free with the card.
It's
You're
not
gonna get
free. You
3/3
paid
body
4.
on the board.
You paid 4.
3/3 body, 2 quester, and you get to play an action for free.
You
That
have
card is
20
insane.
It's not about
Bounce.
that. It's insane. It's uninkable in a deck that already runs like 18 to 20 uninkable. That card has low impact, and it only has an
It
impact
is-
if you have a whole new world.
And you have Ariel to help you
Steel
find
is
the
a-
card that you need.
Steel is a
You have
deck.
a
searcher in that deck to help you find the song.
If I have Naveen in the whole new world all the time, bro, I'm winning every game. I'm
Ariel
winning.
turn
I'm winning
3,
Seattle.
find a
I'm winning.
song.
I'm winning Continentals. But that's not how it works.
Ariel turn 3 finds a song for Naveen to slam next turn. It's insane, dude.
If it's still in your hand, because we live in a green world
Guys,
and Pete world.
guys,
If I peek
it's
you,
super
what is your
easy.
Naveen gonna do?
It's super easy for
You
you
run
guys
20
to hang
songs.
out over here in like
But
uninkable
it's-
world,
you run
where
20
like your
songs.
cards are overrated.
You'll find
Like, let me
songs.
talk to you about a card that is bait and actively loses Ruby Amethyst games. Like actively loses games.
What?
It does.
What does?
Flynn.
Flynn is the opposite. That
Play
that
card is-
Flynn thing is the
play
opposite.
Flynn on the draw.
The fact that you said that, I'd rather put a 1/2 character on 2 that draws me a card over a card that you play and I have to answer. I don't have to answer Fusco.
You have to.
I have to
I agree
answer
with that.
Flynn
You
Rider.
have to answer.
If
You
you
know
don't
you answer Flynn
You
Rider,
have to waste a
Diablo,
move
or
on Flynn.
literally anything that costs 2, brother. Like you
If
are
you're
looking
not
at
playing
this
against
card,
Amber Steel,
brother man.
that card is living.
My turn. My
if
turn.
I don't
my turn.
have an answer to that card.
All right,
just
let's
like
roll
Diablo,
into final thoughts. We'll let Miles take the floor here with
Has
his
to be
final
that.
thoughts
That card
on Flynn
broken.
and why that card is overrated more so than Grab Your Swords and Naveen.
I think that there was a time, Johnny, where Flynn Rider came down on the play and was oppressively good because of the follow-up that came with it. The game is so full of cards that cost 2 lore, or that they come down with two attack power. It is so easy to get rid of outside of that. The prevalence of Diablo, matching Flynn, I think right now is something that is hugely pushing
5
it out
seconds.
from relevance. And after that,
2,
now shift Beast
1.
off of Morph.
And that
That's it.
that is it,
That's
and
it.
that is it. And we're gonna go back to you, Abe. Why is Grab Your Swords the correct answer?
Again, Grab Your Sword is so hard to actually play. In a green meta, it's constantly getting sniped right on time. If someone sees you have a Singer on board, they're going to slam that thing to snipe it out of your hand. Or if you're getting close to 5 ink, they're sniping it out of your hand. As well as just discard in general is so big that if it's not Ursula taking it, it's going to be taken by a sudden chill, a you have forgotten me, something like that before you can even get the chance to play it. These guys are saying, oh, you mulligan your songs away. Well, if
5
you mulligan
seconds.
that thing away, then why are you playing it? You don't want it in your hand so bad.
2,
You know what's going to happen.
1.
It's getting
All right.
sniped.
That's that. And then Justin, why is Naveen the most overrated Lorcan card?
Because everyone like hypes him up being like a card that swings tempo. That it only swings tempo if you're playing against like solitaire games. But if you're playing with an interactive game like Green Steel is right now, and a lot of different like Red Blue just runs you over anyways. But Green Steel, Pete and Ursa, that's all I'm gonna say. Like if you're against that, your Naveen's not singing anything. He's not playing anything. You're playing him on 4 pass. That's what he does. Because you're keeping an uninkable, which is Naveen, and another uninkable, which is a whole new world.
5 seconds.
If that was always the case, that card's good. But that's not always the
2,
case. Like,
1,
makes Naveen bad.
and that is it.
Think you're 6 and what you can do.
Man, this was another hot one. I like this.
6, you forgot
This
about
was
that.
good. This was another good one. Another good one.
Well heard.
All right. Notes are kind of crazy. That's why it's hard for me to get through it. Just a lot to keep track of. But Miles, you made it a point a couple times, which I do think is a strong point, that Flynn Rider is pretty contingent on the combo, the sequential turns afterwards for it being effective. Outside of that combo, it's pretty useless. And a lot of times, you said it could lose you Ruby Amethyst games. What I would have liked to heard is specific points as to how it loses you games, because there was a good counter argument from Justin, is a lot of times it actually in fact is keeping you in games, or is just completely blowing Ruby Sapphire out of the water if it stays on board. That was a point that Abe made early on, that if you're playing Ruby Sapphire and there is no brawl, and Flynn is staying on the board and you have the Sisu, that's kind of winning you the game as opposed to losing you the game effectively. But that was a big argument that I had as far as why Flynn is being overrated. But you did make the point as I prefer Cusco because you prefer the draw over a card that is dead a lot of the time, which I think is also another good point. But that was kind of the scope of what I got of that argument. Abe, not a points here. You saying that it needs to be a top deck to be effective. Ursula snipes the grab your sword, which is a really effective point, especially in a very prevalent discard meta right now that we have. There's a lot of times where you just don't even get to it. Your argument against Naveen is Naveen 4 plus a whole new world is bonkers, which it is, but then there was a counterpoint from Justin saying that, well, the fact that you have to hold 2 uninkable cards in order for that play to take effect was a good counter argument. But then Abe came back again saying that you have a card called Ariel in the deck that can actually find you the answer to then be played by Naveen, so you don't actually need to hold on to the card because you have a find for Naveen. As I said earlier, your point against Flynn was good, that if there is no brawl, then it kind of sits there and is strong against a lot of decks. And then you made a point against something that Justin had said earlier, and you asked, so really what your point is you're running Grab Your Swords just to top deck it, hopefully, eventually, because, again, of the point of being sniped by several different cards. Justin, you did come in saying that you have to get 4 inks, which a lot of times in Amber Steel is actually hard to get to in order to even be able to play Naveen, which was a good point. Why playing Naveen in a deck with so many uninkables? You mentioned that a couple times. You're playing it in a deck that already has 18 to 20 uninkables. It's kind of hard to play Naveen in a deck like that, since it is a high cost uninkable card. You're saying you want to play Grab Your Swords actually because it's a factor to get you a 2-0, and nowadays you kind of need a 2-0. So if someone has Diablo, Prince John, Grab Your Swords can actually swing that and give you that 2-0 on the turn on the times you're on the draw. You did have some counter arguments as to why would you want to draw a card as opposed to putting pressure when it comes to picking either Cusco or what was it, Flynn Rider. And with that, I would say the one last argument that you made is that it's horrible against Pete and Ursula, obviously, because no actions makes it mute, and then Ursula can just take the action or the song that you want to play out of the hand. So anyway, great arguments from all 3, but for this round 4, I'm going to give the point to Abe.
We're alive!
All right, guys, that was a good one. Great answers, very solid. And now to move on to our last question of phase 1, and that is, which card from set 6 is being overhyped? Abe, we'll start with you. 30 seconds.
Easy one here. It's Bend to My Will. I remember when Twitter first announced this, everybody was freaking out. Oh my God, discard your old hand. Why would they do this? Why would they make this a card? This card blows. It's a 7-cost, uninkable card. Happens way too late. You don't even need it in discard decks. You already got the Sudden Chills going, the Ursulas. Everything else is already ripping your hand. You have no hand by turn 7 if you're playing against a discard deck. You don't need to run this thing. I can see blue-green possibly using this because you can ramp to it. You can get it off on, 5, I think it is. But you don't need to use this card.
That is it. And now moving on to you, Justin. Which set 6 card is being overhyped?
Third. Guys, I'm so sorry, but Maui Shark is not it. 6, just as much as that card, Maui Shark is too far. And the card that makes Maui Shark strong, which is the Robin Hood 4-drop uninkable from last set, is kind of unplayable.
You're gonna stand on that?
It's not playable. So because it dies to everything. So that's the card that complements. So
5 seconds.
Robin Hood is the one that complements Maui Shark, and those 2 cards
2,
sucks.
1, and that is it for your opening argument. Miles, 30 seconds as to why or which card is being overhyped in set 6.
I'm gonna come right back at Justin's throat with Alice, the 1-4 for 2.
God.
And I can't believe what he just said, but Alice is a card that completely disrupts the game plan of the decks that you would suspect it to be played in. You want to play that deck in blue steel or blue red, you're completely disrupting your ability to ink effectively with like Fishbone Quill, with Tipo. You want to play an additional 4 uninkable cards within the deck that already plays 19 to 22. Like, you want to go to 25. Like what kind of deck is this? Like, are you playing an aggressive strategy
5
with
seconds.
Smees or Cogsworths, or are you playing like blue steel or
2,
blue red? Like,
1.
Where is this card
That
coming?
is it for the opening arguments, and the floor is all yours, guys.
Give me 5 cards that outs Hiram. Go. 5 cards.
That's called a straw man argument, and that's logical
5
fallacy.
cards that outs Hiram.
We're going to go back to what we're talking about right now.
What are the 5 cards that outs Hiram?
So right now, the things
2 cards that outs
the
Hiram.
things that I'm going to talk about are this. I think that Abe talking about Bend to My Will being a card that is bad is a huge oversight of the net possibility of what Lorcana is. There's now 1 card that has been printed that discards all cards in your opponent's hand. Not just an opponent, but all opponents. But we can get to that in a different episode.
It's not needed.
You talk about turn 7. This is a card that is played on turn 5. This is a card that is inked by Tipo or by Fishbone Quill in the events that it's not needed. And it is outstanding in the times that it is. You want to argue with me about Alice?
When are you getting this out on 5? When are you getting, hold on a second. When are you getting this card out on 5? You're going to get the Yago down. The Yago's got a stick there. The Yago has to quest. And then you slam this thing after you've ramped already. So you need all these things to line up. You need all these things to line up before you can do it.
You're still defending your card. Please defend yours again for me.
Shark?
Yeah.
This
On
one is
6?
crazy.
Yeah.
This one's
Shark
crazy.
on 6?
This one's
Talk
crazy.
that talk.
So
to me real
Shark's
quick.
effect, right? When you challenge someone, you get a song from or an action from the grave from the discard to your hand. By the time you're
And also gain
by
a
the
lore.
time a lore, okay.
Ooh,
by
we
the
get
time
the lore too. That's right.
by the time
Action, lore,
this
7
character
attack.
actually does something, you're in turn 7.
This guy can
Unless
one
you're
shot a
ramping-
castle.
Unless you're ramping into this card, which is like the earliest you can ramp into this card is turn 4.
You are
and at that
thinking-
time, are you really gonna play Maui over like your outs like
I think that
like
you
Medusa?
I think that you were thinking,
Tremaine,
Justin, about this
Hiram,
card. Whenever you're done.
Visions,
Whenever you're ready.
those cards,
Whenever you're ready.
you're telling me
Maui
you're gonna
is
stop playing the
amazing.
game. You're
I
gonna
think
stop
that-
playing the game. Play a Maui and pass.
I think that like right now,
so you can gain a lore next
right
turn?
now, like I'm just gonna like rain on your parade and then
Invasive?
come back to mine.
Go ahead.
But like the fact that like you have missed the entire point, brother. Like this card in a deck that is ramping and constantly has ink gains a lore whenever you play an action. Do you know how many actions blue red plays? Right? We're talking about
Absolutely.
not just develop, but one jump, but like the thievery card. Even if you wanted to play it, like we're talking about like how far I'll go.
So on the turns, so on the turns where you're supposed to be prep, Tremaine, Medusa, Shift, Sisu, you're gonna play Maui.
Have you ever dug
Pass.
in blue red?
Even if you're not
this
using
sounds
blue red,
like
this
Maui.
card can be
This
used
sounds
in
like
your
me
purple
playing
red.
Maui
Justin, like you
and
sound to me like a
pass.
guy.
This is
using-
Purple red. So on turn
Purple
6,
red.
So on turn 6, instead of playing more,
I'm not gonna fight you
because
for
we're
the
gonna
mic.
go to B prep turns, right? Turn 6. After turn 6 is B prep. So you're telling me you're playing this on 6 and B prep on 7?
I don't know that you've
You don't
played
need to
any
be
blue
prep.
red.
Okay,
in
but
your
you
may not
life.
need to be
by that
I don't
turn,
know that.
you may
I don't know
not
that
turn you
based on
haven't-
the words
by
that
that
you're
turn,
telling me that
you don't
you
need to
played
be prep?
any blue red.
It's too far, guys.
That card as a top deck
6
in
drop
a
is too far.
situation
So
where
hard to
you're
get rid
playing
of.
18,
What are you top decking?
18
The Maui card?
What's he,
actions.
7-5 stat line?
also-
It's
So you're
insane
playing
hard to
Maui.
get rid of.
So you
Your
top deck
Alice is
Maui, you
cooked.
play it, you pass.
Your Alice is bad.
And your opponent's like questing for 6, and you're like, okay.
You could even give him rush
I
in
could-
certain
I could-
situations.
Who's rushing?
You could give him rush.
I'm
So you're
gonna,
telling me you
I'm
need
gonna talk
One
about.
drop
Inks?
Cogsworth and give him.
I'm
you
gonna
can
talk
give him
about
rush.
Alice's problems right now.
Vitalis
There's
Spirit?
no problems with Alice.
Alice,
Okay,
Immediately-
give me 2 cards to outs Hiram. 2 cards. Just 2 cards. To outs Hiram right off the bat.
Brawl.
Justin,
Brawl.
Justin,
What's the other
Justin.
card? What's the other card?
What's your point?
I hate
Arrive at your
Brawl,
point.
right?
Arrive at your
That
point.
chooses a character.
Sure.
What
Sisu,
What
that chooses a character.
What deck are we playing? this
Medusa
in?
that chooses a character.
Justin.
Listen,
you
the
can't
Alice
just
is
straw man
Strength
argument
that chooses a character.
You can't straw
We don't talk
man
about
argument
Bruno
this whole point.
that targets
The
a
fact that
character. And you're
look,
telling
you
me-
can straw man all you want.
you're telling
the
me
fact
Alice
that you're
protecting
going
The
to
Hiram
Alice,
is not
the,
good?
the
fact
Alice
that
is
you're
good.
going
Alice
to put
The Alice is-
protecting Hiram is not good.
Johnny. I don't know what to do, man.
What are we doing to out the Alice? I'm going to be honest.
Actually,
the
you know
Alice
what?
is pretty fucking good.
I'll give you some.
And
time.
it's not my card.
I was
Well,
interrupting.
yeah,
Go ahead.
let's pivot over to Alice. I haven't heard a lot as to specifically why it is or is not overhyped.
The idea, Johnny, that this card, this 2 lore gaining ward character, that is
The gives word.
And his
ward and gives ward,
Yes.
that is uninkable,
Yes.
is going to slot
Those two
into
words are
these
crazy.
decks.
Yes.
And that is going to seamlessly
Yes.
move. Stop talking. Let me get this,
agreeing.
bro.
Go
My
ahead.
guy.
Go ahead.
Let me do this.
Go ahead.
Right.
Yep.
You're gonna put this 3-drop 1/4 into the middle of your control deck, and then all of a sudden, like we're going to have this seamless curve where you're now not going to have to worry about the fact that we have fish boning to do and that we have B prepping to do later. What is this like a back pocket strategy that now is like sort of like sort of, what do you call it, like tangential to the idea that we're going to B prep or that we're going to grab your swords? Like, where does this fit into the game plan, man? Like,
It
like
fits
what's
in-
the idea behind
The idea,
playing this
the idea
brick,
is
this
that
brick
it's not a
3-drop?
brick. So you play it on
Yeah,
3 or
no.
turn 4. You play it on turn 3 and turn 4, so you can protect your turn 5 character, which is most of the time Hiram, which gets outed by anything, which is like Brawl, Medusa. I mentioned these cards already. And then you have Beast that also gets outed by Medusa.
How many cards we played in
Those
the deck?
cards like just get shitted on by targeted removals. But Alice makes it that you can't target them anymore, which solves that problem.
now we're not ramping anymore.
So now you're not ramping, but
now we're not ramping.
but you've advanced your
So
game.
we're gonna
by
lose to like the
playing
B
a
prep.
5-drop.
Like we're gonna lose to all of like the over the top things that we're worried
B-prep,
about.
The Sapphire still loses to B prep anyway.
Under the sea.
So what you're saying is that we're gonna
Under the sea.
concede
She's
the
gone.
blue-red matchup.
She's gone,
The
sure.
second best deck or the first best deck in the.
So you under
in
the
the-
seed, my
in-
Chen
in the
post
meta.
still ward, and you still can't.
Well, hang on.
Got
Oh,
it.
now we're playing blue steel.
No,
So,
I've
so
been
now we're
playing
playing
blue
blue
steel.
steel. Right. So like
So my
right
sad
now,
beast is lit. So you under the sea my Alice, but my sad beast you can't touch it.
I didn't talk about
On
it.
my turn, I'm drawing 2.
What
Got it.
what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
This is a good card on face,
My
brother.
Hiram's drawing 2 for sure next turn.
Brother.
For sure.
Brother.
Let
Are we
Alice
playing an
get his point
aggro
in.
deck or a control deck? Where is this card fitting?
And both.
Like what?
Mid range.
It's overhyped. It's overcooked. Not the card.
Okay.
I
We're
haven't
gonna
heard.
end on that. Well, we're gonna end the open
I
discussion.
was really quiet that one.
and we are.
I
and-
was silent.
Well, we still got final. We just want to
Okay.
close it
I was
out. Close
forgetting
out
what
the
you
open
mentioned, actually.
discussion.
What was the
We'll
question?
start with Abe.
Alice.
Why is your pick for
I was
Ben
gonna
to my
shark,
will
shark.
being the most
I don't know.
overhyped? Why is that correct? Why is that the most overhyped?
Again, that card is way too late, and discard decks don't need it. And these two guys couldn't give me a real good reason why it's not overhyped. So I think my point stands pretty strong. That card sucks.
Sorry, we forgot about you.
Turn 7, it's way too far away. And
5
green,
seconds.
green discard, not even just green, just discard decks in general, don't need it.
one.
It's too far away.
And
Wasted card slot.
that is it. Justin, why is Maui Shark or Half Shark? Why is that the most overhyped card of set 6?
Because turn 6 is too far, and turn 4 is a turn where you play Hiram, Grand Matala, Brawl. So like you're playing Maui Shark and pass to do nothing. That's your strategy. And the next turn, if you have an action in the graveyard, you swing and add that action to do what? I feel like Shark is over. Like it's the card that also like complements Shark
5
is
seconds.
Robin Hood, the 1/4, and that card also sucks.
1. That's your ending argument, and Miles closes out here as to why Alice is the most overhyped, more so than even Shark or Bend My Will.
You're not playing Shark on 4, firstly. Like, this is a card that you're playing late to combo off with your actions to end the game.
Defend your Alice.
And
No,
Defend your Alice. Defend your
uninterrupted.
Alice.
Uninterrupted.
And, yeah. The fact that, like we're talking about, that a card that discards the hand of everybody that is not you is underpowered or not something that is hugely impactful moving forward in the game of Lorcan, I think is ridiculous.
What hand?
Alice is a card that has no home, that is a good card, but currently was not provided to me in a way where
seconds.
the uninkability could be justified. It is going to be a brick and a big problem
1,
in any Sapphire deck
and
moving
that
forward, period.
is it.
What hand?
Wow, guys. All right. I think a round of applause for phase 1. That was our first time doing it.
We survived.
So let's get into it, man.
Let's go.
Abe,
Yes,
bench
sir.
my will. The main points I heard from this one is that it takes too long to get to. 7 cost uninkable. It's redundant in green steel because green steel is already discarding your hand. You don't really need it.
No hand by 7.
Yep, and then you need a lot to line up to be able to play Bend Your Will when they were making the points as far as playing it in Sapphire, being able to get it off earlier. And then as far as you made an argument against Justin's point for Shark, saying that he can be useful because you can give him rush sometimes. Sure, it takes a lot. You mentioned Vitalosphere and Cogsworth. And then, so moving on to Justin's points, when you made with about Shark, that you need Robin Hood. Robin Hood is a good, it's a good seamless, or I guess, combination between the two. However, Robin Hood at this point in time doesn't seem to be very playable. And then unless you're ramping, it takes too long to get to. But the strongest point, the point that I like the most that you did bring up a couple times, is the fact that, do you really want to play Shark at that period of time, or would you rather play things like Medusa or Hiram or Vision or these other characters that can do something on the turn it's played, on that exact turn where it does take time for Maui to take effect? It takes that extra turn. So that was my favorite point by you, basically saying it's an oversaturated period of time to be able to even play that. And then you made the counter argument to Miles as far as like how is Alice actually good? You saying like something specifically, you made a point as far as Hiram being able to be removed by so many things, and Alice prevents that actually from being happening, so you can continue your draw and he doesn't just get sniped. Miles, you're talking about how Alice is just, you can't ink effectively. There's already being played in a deck that has a lot of ink, so you're just going to slot in 4 more uninkables. It seems like it's going to be pretty hard to do that. You made a point as far as that Bend to My Will is maybe not, overhyped just because of the fact that you can play earlier than its cost. Actually, you could play it on 5 if you're an Emerald Sapphire, and you even mentioned the fact that like Tipo could ink it, Fishbone can ink it if need be.
Diablo, turn to Diablo.
And so therefore it makes it that it is not actually overhyped, that it can be a particularly strong card. And you were talking about, as far as your arguments for Shark, that it not only does it do the action thing, bringing it back from a discard, but it actually gains lures for playing actions as well, which no one else had brought up to that point. And that there's a lot of actions for Maui to hit. There's a lot of important actions that he can bring back and play again. And then you were talking about, as far as Alice, is like if you're playing Alice, that means you're kind of pushing away a lot of what certain decks are doing, specifically Sapphire Steel. So that means, are you just not playing Hiram anymore? Are you not playing the Fishbone Quill on that turn? Are you taken away from the game plan of actual ramping just to play this 4-drop uninkable again? You mentioned as far as to round out the deck having already too many uninkables. But yeah. So, this is tough because Justin already is advanced to phase 2 with 2 points. Really tough. This is tough. But I have to go with, I think the overall argument the person who gave the most arguments not only for but against and kind of spread out the love amongst everything on the field. I'm going to have to give this argument to Miles.
Rigged.
You must bend to my will.
And then with that, guys, we're going to go on to phase 2. Thank you, Abe, for participating.
Thank you guys for having me.
If anything, if I have a tough time, deciding, maybe we'll defer to
Tiebreaker
you. Maybe
mode.
we'll defer to you or something. All right, but we're going to move on to phase 2, guys, so stick around
Good luck,
for that.
boys.
Thank you, Abe.
And we'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in phase 2 for the first episode of Pardon the Questing. We have 2 heavy hitters here, Miles and Justin. Abe did great, but unfortunately, this time, he was overthrown. But now to go over what phase 2 looks like, it's really going to look pretty much the exact same, only it's just 2 people. However, these questions, they have no idea what's coming at them. They don't know what to expect. So this is really going to show how strong of an argument can they make when they have no preparation. And this will determine the champion, the first champion, the inaugural champion.
John, you got surprises for us.
I don't think I can say what it is for a Disney TCG. So anyway, we are going to move forward with the first question of what this is. Now, this is going to be a little different, something a little fun, right? It's going to be, what is the best card of the 2? Now, I have a picture here that I'm going to flip, and it's really going to be first answer. First person to say what it is. If you both say the same one at the same time, we'll determine who said it first. Abe, you can help me out if we need to. Then, unfortunately, at that point, the other person will have to argue for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Hopefully,
Coin flip.
Hopefully you decide 2 different ones, but all right. And then we'll put it up a more clear picture for you guys in case you can't see it here. But are you guys ready?
I'm ready, Johnny.
All right. I don't know how to do this without. Let me get this off of here. This will be easier. Ready?
Yep.
Sisu.
Beast.
There we go. 2 different answers. What I love. All right. So since you answered first, I'm gonna give you the option to be able to either go first with your opening argument or to go second.
Second.
Okay. So, Miles, you chose Tragic Beast.
I did.
30 seconds for your opening argument.
I will say that right now, and I think consistently, Beast is a card that will gain you value, that by virtue of Morph, is a card that can allow this card to come out early. It has a secondary ability that not only can draw you cards, but can also be a huge out for cards like Sisu or other big threats within the red-blue or the red-purple matchup where these things matter.
5 seconds.
Overall, I think that Sad Beast is a card value engine and is a house that exists in Steel forever.
That is it. And Justin, why is Sisu stronger than Tragic Beast or better?
Good.
30
Honestly, I'm not even doing the math, but you can just look at DLCs, big events, and the number shows. Nobody's playing Beast. There's 64 people, there's probably 4 decks that are playing it, and everyone's playing 4 to 3 Sisus, big Sisus. That alone, the number alone, and the result alone shows you why this card is better than Beast. Beast is vulnerable to a lot of cards that Ruby
5 seconds.
plays, and Green actually, because of we don't talk about
2,
Bruno.
1,
so
and
better.
that is it. So good opening statements. I'm going to go ahead and leave the floor open for you guys to go head to head on what each other said.
Justin,
You
I can
can go
agree.
first.
Justin, I can agree with you that Sisu is a card that
Yes, sir.
wide wraps, and this is a card that ramps.
Absolutely.
I think that right now, I would ask you if have you seen a top list recently? Have you actually looked at what deck is winning these events? The fact that Beast not only is a card that generates value turns far earlier than Sisu, but also can control a board, can end a game, and does not have to operate as a card that sits as a brick uninkable in your hand.
Beast
It's
is only
inkable.
good.
Brother, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you. I'm going to let you talk because I
Beast
don't
is-
want to fight here.
Beast is only good when you play him off the top.
How many times have you sat, by the way, as a blue-red player with Sisus in your hand?
Sisus in my hand.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Okay, how did that feel?
Pretty good once I get to 6 or 8 inks, which I will because I'm Sapphire.
Eating
I ramp.
eating your ice blocks with Hiram, eating them, right? Like now we have a 5/4.
Not to mention,
evasive.
not to mention actually ice block. Ice block being a card means that cards like
This
Sisu,
argument is
cards-
entirely dependent on the fact that this man has items that are trying to support a card.
because that's
This-
that's
when
a deck that
when I
Sisu
t-
plays in.
When I talk
That's-
about Beast,
that's a top deck that people play.
if we're talking about Beast right now as a net card, it exists
net.
in a vacuum.
There's no net.
That not only draws a card per
Ice,
turn that
ice
you
block
play,
brawl dead.
you're talking about other cards.
Double ice block.
Justin.
Right, because those other cards are super
Justin.
relevant in the meta, and Beast is open to those cards that everyone plays. Well, so what counters Sisu?
What I'm telling you, brother, is that you need to play
You
a
only have
small Sisu
You only
in
have
order.
three
You need to play a
toughness
3-drop.
or whatever attack.
You need to
You
play
only
a
have
3
three
drop.
attack in order for that card.
I'll wait for you to finish.
After I ice block you and brawl you, that card is dead. Like
need-
literally has no value afterwards.
Justin, you need to play a 3-drop uninkable creature that is irrelevant in the matchup that Beast is played in, such that you might, in the future, potentially.
so you're telling
Wait,
me
no. I gave you time.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Give me time.
Yeah, I'll give
right?
you time.
You need to play a 3-drop uninkable creature, such that you can potentially shift in a card that if you have Ice Block and other supporting cards, you're able to wipe my board. Maybe. But not if my Beast has been damaged, right?
It does.
No, not anymore. It's not because now it's turn 8, right? Because like now's when we're shifting.
This turn
Not only are we talking about you
only turn four
needing,
beside.
not only Justin, are we talking about an
I ran to that card
uninkable
already.
brick card, but a card that if you want to accelerate, you need an uninkable to play. That's not good against my deck.
So when are you playing Beast?
I'm playing Beast Shift on 3 if I need to. I'm
So
playing
you're,
Shift.
So you're telling me your morph survived against me? Against a
Yeah, blue red
against a steal?
against brother again, right? Like you haven't
blue
played
red,
any blue
yes.
red.
Blue
Nobody
red,
is
yes.
playing. Nobody is
I will
playing.
Sisu brawl. I would brawl that.
I just want to know.
I will brawl that morph. That morph is dead. That morph is dead. There's no way. I will
want to-
Sisu ice block that on 3. 100%.
Johnny, I want
all
to.
right.
Johnny, last thing, I want to note that this man has shifted multiple times tonight from him being a blue-red player to him being a blue sapphire player or a sapphire steel player,
Sapphire Steel, yes.
and I think that needs to be noted. This has to come
Well,
up.
These are relevant- these are
I
relevant
cannot
facts.
take old questions into effect for this one. So I'm gonna give final thoughts here. Again, 30 seconds uninterrupted. Final thoughts. Why do you really feel like Beast is the stronger card between the two at this moment in time?
Yeah. Is it me?
30 seconds for you, Miles.
I'm going to give it to Beast because this card is an inkable card. It has been a staple in this game for a very long time. The fact that it exists now within Green Steel with Morph is a massive component. It is a card that draws. It is a card that, after it takes damage, is no longer a 3-drop. That moves right under the Ruby Sapphire or whatever deck it is that Justin wants to talk about that he's playing. That takes over a game, that can trade with anything,
seconds.
and that wins games of Lorcana.
1-0. Final thoughts, Justin.
Sisu literally takes you from a losing position to a winning position by playing that card just on the turn. It kills the entire Amber Steel deck. It kills a Green Steel as well. It kills aggro. Like Sisu will shift the tides to your favor as soon as you play it. Beast needs an entire turn to not be pinged just to draw another card. Like that card is not
5
as
seconds.
valuable as Sisu and the impact of what Sisu can do in
2,
a game.
1. That's it. All right, great.
So I'm kind of sweating there actually.
All right.
Those
So,
were good points. Those were good
just to
points.
go over it, it was very good, very
Those were
good.
good
This
points.
is fun, man. This is fun. Justin, some good points, especially off the rip. I liked the fact that you brought some stats into this, saying that DLC is reflecting that less beasts are being played and Sisus are being played at every corner. There was obviously a counter to that. Which deck is Beast being played in? It's being played in literally the deck that is winning. So that's a pretty strong counter coming back from Miles. You're saying Beast is only good off the top. There wasn't really anything against that. You're saying that sorry, I'm going through my notes here. In order to what you can do to get rid of Beast is you can just ice block it and brawl it when it's played. It doesn't really take too much in order to get rid of it. The counter argument to that was that you're dependent on items in order to take that into effect. So you need Ice Block in order for Brawl to actually be effective against Beast. And then a strong ending point you made is that, Sisu literally takes the most prevalent deck right now, or one of the most, which is Ruby Sapphire, from a losing position literally to a winning one, and it can be against any deck, especially against things like aggro. It's very important. And then Beast needs to make sure that it's not pinged in order to be effective.
True.
Miles, you were talking about how well that Morph works with Beast, again, when you're bringing up your point as far as what deck is Beast being played in, which is Green Steel, which is winning right now. And then it generates value earlier as far as quicker than Sisu generates value, because it comes out faster, whether that is being shifted or it just being a 5-drop as opposed to an 8-drop. It can control a board, because when it is damaged, it does become then a 7 attack, so it can trade into almost anything. It's just a regular point on its face. Beast is inkable, which is better than being uninkable, sure. And then Sisu can be a dead card in hand. It is a staple in Green Steel. Again, that refers back to being the stronger deck, and you're seeing Beast in every single deck that is the strongest deck. And then, so you made one other point as far as needing to accelerate Sisu. You need a 3-drop uninkable that has absolutely no effect on Beast. So very strong arguments. It's so tough to do this, guys. It's so tough. Both are great cards. Both people made really good points, and I really love specific points from both of them. I do have to give this one to Miles, though.
Sisu is probably a stronger card.
I forgot about Green Steel. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Forget, brother.
I forgot to.
It's hard.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
It's hard when you just have to
Not
wait
gonna
for a
lie to
picture
you.
and name something. Sometimes you just name what you see first.
Being the guy that plays Green Steel, I'm so
The
excited.
problem was, dude, is that you got to
Sapphire
the
Steel.
game states that it wins late. I think if you would have opened with this card ends the game against Amber Steel.
Oh,
this
so many
card
things. It
ends the game
it
against.
can literally beat Green Steel when being top decked or something.
And I think
Well,
but
But
that's
yeah,
past
we
now. Yep,
digress,
that's
right?
past.
So
We
moving
digress,
on to
yes.
the second
Yep.
question
I
now.
forgot.
This is where stakes are higher.
Oh god.
If Miles wins this one, he takes the first episode. But if Justin can hold strong here, we can go to a third question. Will it end on this question? We'll see. All right. So, Miles, since you took that last question, this is how we're going to determine whether you would if you like the choice first, but then you have to make your point first, or if you like the second choice and you'll be the second.
Okay, so go or defer.
Exactly.
Fair enough, Johnny. I will defer.
Okay. So you'll be the first to answer the question, but you'll have to make your opening statement first. And this might take some time to think of. So it's okay if you need to think for this one. Okay. Which character, item, song that's not already a card should be a card?
Deep in the brain.
Like
In Disney. Sorry, in Disney.
How long does my man have?
In Disney. Think of a character or an item or song. You can't make up what it's gonna do. You can, speculate, but more so just something impactful for Disney. Whatever thoughts you have.
Yep.
What do you think?
I have one.
Sure.
To Infinity and Beyond.
I like that is Pixar, so we'll let Pixar slide. So, your go. What do you have an answer?
So we're just talking
So that's gonna
about
be an action, I'm
idea.
assuming?
Talk to me
an
about
idea.
To Infinity and Beyond.
So an idea. What kind of something? Whatever reason you take this question as, why should it be? That might be something that you make a point to. Why is it important to be a card?
I'm going to go ahead and move to Pixar, as Justin
Yes.
did. And I'm going to call it The Last Door in the Hall, card from Monsters, Inc.
I like this.
The door,
Ooh,
Wow.
the door that flies off of the wall that Randall pulled for Mike Wazowski and Sully, and Boo.
All right.
Is it Boo's door?
You did defer. You did defer to Justin. So you're going to make a point. Again, you can take this in any kind of direction.
why do you choose To Infinity and Beyond as a card that needs to be in Lorcana?
Buzz Lightyear, first of all. I'm a big fan of Buzz Lightyear over Woody.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie to you guys. Toy Story's IP in Disney, guys. Big IP. Like everywhere you go, it's Toy Story. That little fork guy. Toy Story 1 and 2 and 3 was good, but when they came out with 4, coming out with 5, it's obviously like really good. It's the IP itself and the childhood and the connection that we have with it as
5
just
seconds?
human beings. It has a space inside of us. That's why.
1. All right. And the name of your card, whatever it is, Last Door,
Like Last
Booze
Door at
Door.
Monsters Inc.
Sure.
Booze Door. We'll call it Booze Door. Right now, I'm going to give it to Justin for saying that like he had he had the song, right? He had the catchphrase. I think that one thing that Lorcana needs right now is not only something, guys, right, that is interesting and entertaining, but something that speaks particularly to the world that we live in Lorcana. A card that can take us anywhere, right? A card that can tutor something, that might bring a character into play, a card that might bring an item
seconds.
or a location into play, something that is
2,
right off the wall
1.
into a world we
All
haven't
right.
seen.
End of
We need
opening
this.
argument. You can continue if you want. We're going straight into the open discussion.
What do you think To Infinity and Beyond would be?
I think To Infinity and Beyond is an action, probably a one-drop action that it draws. So it's kind of like Visions, where it looks at the top 5, but instead of the cards going back at the bottom, you also have a choice to put it back to the top or the bottom.
Kind of like
And
bosses
draw a
on a
card,
roll.
right?
Almost.
So you
Okay.
so you draw
Yeah.
a card. You don't add it to the hand, but you draw a card and then boss on roll. So
Yeah.
it's To Infinity and Beyond because it's doing like 3 things at once.
At
and
this
it's not-
point,
yeah.
like I'm not trying to argue with you, right? Like
Right.
we're talking about just fantastic things. I think that sounds amazing, right? Like when I think about Ponder and how impactful that was for Magic, that was massive, right? Look at the top 3. You can decide to shuffle or not, right? And then draw a card. Huge. And I think that, to be honest with you, you're right. That is To Infinity and Beyond. You are looking either to what we have or, you know what, beyond. We're going to shuffle it. And I think that where I'm approaching this is from Tutor is an effect that is
Are you talking
needed.
about Booze Door now?
Yeah, Booze Door, right? Like for me, I think that Booze Door is a action or an item. I think it's cost 2.
I think it should be an item.
Yeah,
just personally.
I think it's an item. Additionally, though, I think that this is a card that cracks immediately. You don't need any kind of ink to activate this after you cast it. And I think that this is a card that tutors for anything in this game that you need, whether that is an item, a character, a location, because a huge piece of, I think, what Lorcana is missing currently is combo component, right? We have this structure that is aggro and control and then I guess mid-range, brother, but there is no real combo component. And I think that in a game as fast as Lorcana is a problem.
I think Boost Door should be a coin flip card because remember in the movie, like the door didn't always work. So I feel like, and when you open the door, you don't know if there's like if it will open into a room or it'll just open on the other side of like
Siberia.
right.
Or,
So like you don't know what it is. So I feel like it should be a coin flip, and when it lands to what you call it, I feel like it could do something like you could play Boo from your deck,
could.
maybe.
It could.
Something that we don't have in Lorcana, cards that plays straight from your deck and then shuffle your deck.
What I'm concerned about overall, and I think that like thematically you're entirely correct, that it could be a flip. I think that would make cinematic sense. One of our issues, I think, in Lorcana.
Pause, because I'm sorry, because I have to say it. Because Lorcana, they're careful with those things to making for the cards to cater to what
Yes,
the character
the act-
or the story is.
the active effect, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I could say that. Look, if this card was like red, right, like in the art, like as if it was active, and it was Boo's door, that's Boo's door, right?
True.
If it was a door that was white, like the one that Water News pulled out for Sully and them, and it wasn't, and it was a fucking steel or a steel door that was pulled out, maybe we could say something else. I think that combo right now and the ability to actively make a game of Lorcana different because of the difficulty we have, man, in a turn 2 Shift Diablo, a turn 2 Flynn Rider, a on the play Ruby Sapphire player who has the TPO, and after you Diablo them, you can see that he has the quill and everything else that they need. We need an extra axis, and I think that Monsters Inc. and the door is the answer to that.
I think also that with To Infinity and Beyond, the color, if you guys ever wonder, it's supposed to be steel. I think it's supposed to be steel because steel is probably one of the, aside from A Whole New World and Fortisphere, we don't really have a way to like draw or like look at the cards. So like if you play Ruby Steel, like it's really hard for you to get like any cards in those two combination cards that drops. So I think To Infinity and Beyond, like it helps those two colors, like Ruby Steel specifically,
I think
to advance into a way where like now we could play an actual deck where it's a one drop inkable, by the way.
Okay.
I think
Can I
last
pause?
thing, Johnny.
Sure.
Last thing, Johnny. I want to mirror Justin's sentiment in the color. Right.
Sure.
I think that Boo's Door is an amber,
It's an amber.
or it is a emerald card, right? Because I think that we have to give fold
Tutor
to.
Emerald.
I think that Emerald right now has this identity that is aggressive and that is also undetermined. Right? We have like Hypnotic Deduction, which is Brainstorm. Right. By the way, for any Magic fans here, right? There's this very odd identity with Emerald that is aggression and like sort of under the table, and also search and sleight of hand.
But I feel like green already has a lot of those because of the combination that it pairs up with.
We'll get to that.
Okay, so I want to focus this a little bit. Great answers thus far, Ravensburger. If you can take notes, I
Please,
think these are
yeah.
two incredible ideas.
Please do. Yeah, those would be good.
Infinity.
But
yeah.
I think this will really help with me being able to decide to the winner of this. So you both have explained, the card, what color it'd be in, kind of went over, speculation of what could the card be, what could it say. I want to go over, you brought up something from Toy Story, you brought up something from Monsters Inc., two Pixar IPs. What makes you say a card? What brought you to a Toy Story card? What brought you from a Monsters Inc. card? Why do you think, if let's say 2025 when Pixar is coming in, only one of these is coming out in the first Pixar set? Only characters, cards in general. One of these cards that you mentioned are coming out in the Pixar set. Yeah. Why is it a Toy Story card? Why is it a Monsters Inc. card? Justin, you can start.
I think. Well, not I think, but it was revealed that Toy Story is coming to Disney Lorcana, I believe, from like the banner that they revealed. So I know Toy Story is coming in 2026, I believe, though. Like Pixar's coming in 2026. So I feel like.
Oh, is it 26? Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's only proper that it's Infinity and Infinity.
Sure.
Yeah. What was it? To Infinity and Beyond. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I feel like.
It's because we just invented we invented these cards.
Yes, right. You guys just invented
Yeah,
them.
but this is
yeah.
more so like realistic because we've already been announced a Toy Story versus like I'm not saying that Monsters Inc. shouldn't be, but I'm saying that
Right.
we already have been announced this card, so therefore. Yeah.
So why do you think then he said it's already announced? Why should Monsters Inc. be announced?
Look, Justin might be entirely correct, and
Sure.
it might be absolutely accurate that Toy Story proper is coming. The fact that we both brought up Pixar, I think, is not a coincidence.
Right.
When I think about Boo's Door appearing, I think there's an emotional appeal for me, right?
Sure.
That is a very, I think, powerful scene within Monsters Inc., where not only does Sully and Mike think that they are returning this person to the place that they need to, but then they get tricked and tripped into something that they have no idea where they're going. And I think that idea for a card, what I talked about with Boo's Door, being something that is a complete door to anywhere, I think speaks to the moment, and I think will resonate with a lot of players, just like writ large. It is for Disney a door to anywhere, and I think that IP in particular, Monsters Inc., plays with a lot of aggressive, like Slumber Party on top of that, dude. The Slumber Party action that will exist in this game, I will say right now, I think will cost 5, will look very similar to Boo's door, and I think will evoke similar emotion. Not to say that Toy Story does not do the same, but that I think that moment in Disney IP with Boo's door, as it sits like isolated within the doors or the attached piece, is going to be a big deal. Yeah.
I think that's a great place to end that question. Again, really good answers.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get down to the nitty gritty. I do like both ideas, and the first part of it, I just love listening to as far as like ideas for what new cars could be.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to ask that secondary question that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. I think that was a little more focused as far as, me being able at least to decide.
What a question.
Argument. I think it's a great question. It was a fun one to ask. So to go over, Toy Story is very impactful for a game like Lorcana. I mean, Toy Story, there's many IPs that can be, but I think, Toy Story is a big one. That's likely why they announced it. It's an IP that Disney wants to announce. It's one of those front runners. And the point that you want to make that I like specifically is that Toy Story was announced. So as far as just being the argument to the question, why should Toy Story be a thing? It already is. So it's kind of like the answer, right? Yeah. Miles, I really liked where you took it as far as, and I think Disney, if we're gonna go over Disney, I think they would really like your answer and how you kind of correlated your card with how it interacts with Lorcana and the world building, because that's overall what Ravensburger is trying to do, and being inclusive and overall being a Disney game, that's what they're doing. And so you saying how this can just kind of be put into the Lorcana sphere and make a lot of sense when it comes to the world building for Lorcana. The ability, something we don't have yet as a card, to search for kind of anything in your deck. Kind of wish you said that sounds OP, because that sounds very OP, unless it costs 10. So 2 costs that can search for literally anything in your deck. May sound OP, but you didn't make the argument, so I can't ding him for it. It's very flexible. I like the idea. It's a door, in Lorcana. It kind of opens this part of Lorcana of like, that's what brought you to the idea of being able to search for anything. You open the door and you brought back to the actual moments in Monsters Inc. Of the different versions of the door, and the emotional appeal that it has, and I like the fact that you made it kind of, well, how can I say it? Like, you can make this card in different ways because there are different doors, and just the importance overall. I guess what I'm getting back to, I just like the answer of that, of how it's world building. Man, this is tough. And as badly as I want to continue on to a third question, I think I have to give this answer, this very Disney-centric answer, to Miles. The first winner of Pardon the Questing.
I want to see.
Justin did amazing.
And beyond.
You're gonna see them in this again. You'll see Abe, I'm sure, again in another episode. Guys, we have to close here.
It was like a red thing.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Wow.
And have fun at your set 6 events. We'll be seeing you at some DLCs.
See you on
Come
the
say hi.
seas.
Yes, sir. See you guys later.